tonight, right?
Nope, just keep the volume off on YouTube.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, we're going to keep all the volume up. So welcome everyone. This is Soldier of Light reporting for duty, and I have a few guests from the two of the originals that were here on the roundtable. And as we're rotating more and more people through, I just want to thank all you guys for tuning in. Whoever's tuning in today or whoever's watching this video, we have once again Jay Rocco joining us again. The King of Cups, Dennis, he's back again, and we have two new guests today. Harley Rae, and some of you guys may have seen them on the, some of their beautiful crystals and things that they've provided for many of you guys through this journey. So today we're just going to kind of go around, and I know there's a lot of craziness going on in the world, and some of the symptoms that people have been feeling as we ascend in this journey. We even covered something last night on Kristen's show about the people moving into the 4D already. And, as we continue to ascend, we're going to start to feel different. And I can speak to myself, just a few of my experiences and some of the things that I've experienced over. I mean, these are sometimes they're reoccurring things that happen for me. But and some of the dreams that I've had. So I just wanted to kind of just generalize and go through, people's journeys and that we've already kind of discussed a little bit before, but also maybe some of the things they've experienced, some of the things that maybe they do that helps them get through these things. And maybe some, possible advice or some type of suggestions for others out there that may need to know or may want to know some of these things that are going on with their bodies or what their experience or what others are going through, and they're seeing those things. And just kind of maybe get some advice from them and from all of us and what we can provide, at least from our own perspective of what's worked for us. And hopefully you guys will resonate with some of you guys. So on that topic, I want to just go through once again. I'm going to start off with Jay. He's already introduced himself if he wants to again. And I feel like, Jay, that there's some things that recently that you've come in, your spirituality has kind of changed recently as well. And I don't know if you want to touch a little bit on that.
Yeah. It just seems to be an expansion of what's already there, but it's kind of a confidence, as I was always questioning, and I was getting out of my way, but you still have this thought of, yeah, that's out there. It's just, it's not possible. And it is. That's just it. It is. You get to the point where the knowing is part of the expansion. You don't question it any longer. You really have to accept it 100, 1000%, however you want to look at it. And then you start to live it. And when you live it, it seems that everything starts falling into place. There was a question, I believe me and Jason was in a small group. I don't want to mention that, but someone had asked about the 4D today. And it was pretty much what I told them. You just know. And what we perceive of levels, I generally don't see the levels. I kind of see vibration. Some of us are past that. Some of us are straddling. I'll just stop there. That'll be my 2 cents. But there's many that feel like that they're standing in two worlds. I'll just leave it at that. The further discussion will come through.
Is your TV on, Jay?
Damn it! Yes, I'm sorry. The dogs.
The dogs turned on the TV.
All right, Dennis, I also wanted to kind of go to you next, and just, since Jay had to springboard off, just some of the things that maybe you can want to chime in on, kind of what we've discussed in a little bit.
I agree 100% with what he was saying, and I was doing that for quite a while, from the 90s until 2011, I think. And it was always getting in my way, and I always would want to go a little bit further and get outside that box. But then in the back of my mind, I got that little program going and say, it's against the Bible and it's not right, so I shouldn't do that. And I spent from 2011 until probably 2013 again, getting into the spirituality, and then once again, back into that mold of that little voice in the back of my head going again. So, but up until probably when I got in touch with the Kristen and Jason, then things just started to open up, and I got out of my way. So everything's just flowing now, really fluid. So I'm just not listening to what others are saying. I'm just going with the flow, and getting back to. I understand I was psychic when I was young, but I was in the way of that too. So I'm kind of opening myself up to that, and that's where I stand today.
Awesome. How about you? You two ladies. You guys want to speak about some of your experiences and how you guys maybe have woken up, or what your journey's been like for each one of you? It'd be awesome.
Yes. So I'm Kelsey. So I feel like, and this is Katie. We both have like kind of a similar like story. We both like from childhood always like sensitive and kind of like just was always like that. For me, like I was always into like crystals like from a younger age, and one time, so I had this boyfriend. I was right out of high school, and I ended up going over to visit his grandparents. Oh my gosh, it was like so amazing, so meant to be. It was the start of my whole awakening. This lady, it was his grandma, Carol. Sorry, she like just took me under her wing within like a whole day span. Taught me so much. She did like a Reiki session on me. She taught me all about crystals. Taught me about how to make flower water, moon water, like all kinds of amazing things. I was like, my eyes were just so big and bright, and I was just all about it, and it was amazing. Like, needed, and that was the start of my awakening. That was in 2012. So that was like, I don't know, that was awesome. And then you go to yours, and we'll go from there.
So mine was more like 2019, and I, like she was saying, I've always been very sensitive and empathetic, but I was never into like the whole like spiritual stuff, and she kind of was, and I was like, it's a little weird. But I eventually like got into it, and then I just kind of had like a whole like tower card moment where just everything in my life was changing. I like broke up with my boyfriend, I moved, I quit my job, I started like a network marketing business. So that got me out of like the 9 to 5, like the just like the whole like rat race, and it just opened my eyes, like, like creating your reality. And now we're kind of like, both of us are just on the same page of like raising vibrations, and that's kind of like what our whole goal is. Yep.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And and the funny thing is I'm kind of like, I can speak like to a dentist is, and I'm an old soul. I know that. I've always known that ever since I was little, and I've been told that ever since I was little, that you're older than you are. And I've always had this feeling about things going on that weren't right. Always. I just always knew things weren't right. I knew it. I couldn't pinpoint it, but I knew that things didn't make sense to me in general. Like, I hated school except to party and hang out with friends and go to play sports. That's all I went there for, was social hour. And I always hated history. That was like the worst subject for me, was like nails on a chalkboard. And I've talked about this before, but there's a reason for these things. And it's just always kind of, I've always been same thing, always psychic. People are like, how did you know these things? I don't know, but I got in my way a lot. And that was my problem. I use too much of this. I'm an overthinker, and I think and think and think and think. And I finally let that go when like what Dennis spoke of, I just didn't care anymore. When I stopped caring about it, literally, I'm not saying I didn't care about like my family, things like, but what I mean, just in general, the craziness around the world, because I can't change that individual. I mean, I can change myself, and by me changing myself, I can change others or help others, but hopefully that's the goal. But I just can't change it all by myself in one day. And I've gotten to that point where I can just work on myself. And that's what I started doing. And actually my awakening was about 3 years ago for me. And besides just like when I kind of started getting out of my way, actually about two and a half years now. And I slowly started, I split up with my wife at the time, and we're back together. But that was a thing. I feel like the universe did this, and I'm sharing this opportunity or this story with people. Is I split up with my wife, and I moved back temporarily with my mom. And I hadn't really talked to my mom as much as I should have throughout the years. And, I loved her. She loved me. Don't get me wrong. But we just weren't that type of family where we're just, oh, lovey-dovey all the time. It's just not our family. But we reconnected on a level that when we split up, and I got to know my mom again, which was an amazing thing. And it all worked out where we ended up getting back together. But I got to reconnect with my mom, and I got to learn a lot of things about my mom that she never told me when I was younger. And all the experiences and all these things that she's had and throughout her life spiritually and all these things that kind of opened my eyes. And my mom passed away in 2020. And when she passed away, I honestly felt like when her energy left, something like part of her energy stayed with me, and she helped me elevate when she was no longer in the physical form. I heard her talk to me after the fact, and I'm not a crazy person, well, partially, but I'm not a crazy person, but and I heard her talk to me, and what she told me was, I had some pent up anger and I've always had anger because of my childhood, and the father figures, I'll use that, father figures that were in my life weren't exactly the nicest guys. So I had some pent up anger and some resentment. And what she told me was, she literally told me, forgive, let it go. It's not your journey anymore. You don't have to hold on to that. And I heard that. And so I reconciled with this person. And I feel like after that point, my heart opened up, because I felt like it had like this hard crust on it or something. Mm-hmm. And I feel like from that point on, I started to just kind of be more spiritual, like not be so much of a thinker, and start to try to feel more. And I feel like that's where things are kind of opened up for me, as I stopped thinking as much and started feeling, because I'd get all these racing thoughts. And sometimes, now that I know, is those weren't all mine. I was hearing spirit and feeling spirit, and I didn't know that. I was like, what's wrong? Why am I getting these things? And I know some of these people, there's why I'm tying into this, is because this is part of my journey. I know maybe others have had some of their things. They may see things like, I see orbs of light. I saw an orb of light went right past my eye last night, sitting on my couch, and it was blatant. And I see big circle lights, like big halo lights, like big ones. Like I can see them, and they're just there. And I never did that before. And it's because if I would have seen something like that in the past, I'd have been like, what the heck did I just see? You know what I mean? I would automatically went to, there's probably something not good in my house floating around, because I've always been taught that, like as a Catholic, raised Catholic, same thing, just stuff that didn't resonate with me. And a lot of the things, and I've always been spiritual. I've been told that, and I've always been spiritual, but I believe in God, but I didn't believe in the things that we were doing in church. And I still to this day don't, because there's a reason why it's very ritualistic. There's a reason why churches are made that way. And it's not because we all want to pray to the same God. And that's not the reason why they're teaching these things. So, but that's just after that, I kind of opened up. And once I started feeling more from my heart instead of thinking, I feel like that was kind of same thing with like tarot cards and all that. I've always been interested in them. I've gone to psychics in the past, or people that they've said, and I've had some good ones that are really good. And when I split up with my wife, I got into the Reiki, which Harley Rae was mentioning about, and I'll just call you Harley Rae in general, because that's what everyone knows you as. So what she was mentioning is, that the Reiki, and I learned from a teacher who's, to this day, I have yet to meet anybody that has been as energetically connected to spirit as this woman. She's a little Asian lady, about 70, 80 years old. I don't know how old she is now, but she's pretty old. And she's just a fireball. And she's so connected. And when she did some attunements on me in person, I felt like almost woozy from it. And I thought that was all like, yeah, this is nothing. This is, I'm a thinker. So I'm like, the energy thing at my time, I was like, yeah, I don't know. But when I watched what she did with my mom and healing with her legs and inflammation, and I'm like, wow, like, and it was so amazing. That made me started to believe in these things. And then when she did my attunements, by the third attunement of doing these things, she even told me when I got there, you're psychic, you're very psychic. And when she told me, she goes, and you're a healer, you're a good healer. You just have to start putting it in practice. Okay. And when she did my attunements on me, it was like riding a roller coaster. She was just putting her hands over me. And I was just like, whoa, like it was so like a roller coaster. So I know for a fact that the energy, what we speak of, what you mentioned, Jay, the energy and frequency vibrations, it is legit. That is a true story. So
Can I mention one thing while you're there?
Absolutely.
Jason has given me 2 healings, just randomly. I asked for them, and this wasn't an in-person thing. In other words, he sent it to me, and I have a spine that looks like an S with a lot of hardware in there too. It's not pretty. And my wife and I'm just slightly taller than her. We're kind of like, this is my eyes and I'm her eyes. I'm about here with her. These 2 healings have lasted me 6 weeks easily 6 weeks. This is Jason. I'm noticeably taller than my wife. We went to a box store. I'm just going to give it a box store because we're always open for sponsorship. Yes, let's have your sponsorship, please. Okay.
Right.
But you can see yourself in the window, And so I bring my wife back, and it's kind of been this joke with me and her that I'm getting taller. And we're standing in front of the window, and I'm literally just about 3 inches taller than her now. Okay, my hair's growing. There's not 3 inches of hair here. I feel better in the mornings. The mornings aren't as bad for me. Normally, before my healings with Jason, a morning could take me 1 to 3 hours before I get moving. It could easily be 2 hours before I can tie my shoes. I don't have that any longer. There's no coincidences. Does it help that I believe in it? Yes. Is it a noticeable effect? I'm sorry my wife didn't shrink 3 inches. Just doesn't happen. So, but it's been this joke with us back and forth that like kissing her and it's like I'm taller now, and she's like, I'm really hating this, and I'm starting to piss her off to the point where it's like, okay, I've had enough of the little jokes. But she gets it, But again, I just want to say to Jason, that has been noticeably done to me, and I'm handicapped. I'm not. I always tell people, how people have a handicap placard they stick on their mirror. I'm a professional. I have a plate. It's not paper. I have an actual handicap plate. It's like, yeah, hey, we're gonna pass on the tag. You just get a plate. Again, I feel incredible. It's night and day compared to 3 months ago, and that's a testimonial to my friend. Just wanted to throw that out there.
Thank you. How about you, Dennis? You want to chime in
About
just anything that you've been feeling?
well, not feeling nothing.
How was
But
your energy session? So speaking of energy, since Jay was talking about that, you mentioned you had an energy session, correct? How did you feel any different afterwards, or?
no, it felt really good, but it didn't last as long as what it lasted for Jay. I think mine lasted maybe a couple of days. There were a lot of things in there that I didn't think was inside my body. And it was all cleared up for a couple of days, and I was feeling good, but I'm still nocturnal.
I got you.
I'm still awake from midnight until 6 in the morning.
You're staying awake, so all the vampires are fighting away.
Well, that's probably my job, I guess, is to go to war with the vampires.
That's right. How about you, ladies? I mean, have you guys? You mentioned your Reiki healings and things like. Do you guys practice that, or how did your journey go into the Reiki? I know you mentioned briefly, but if you can explain a little bit more, that'd be amazing.
Yeah. So, like I said, back in 2012, when I had my Reiki session done on me, is first time experiencing anything like that. I was just so interested in it. Like, I ended up kind of dabbling in it myself and like wanting to become a Reiki practitioner. And I have 2 kids and life is crazy and all that stuff. So I haven't really like had the opportunity, or haven't prioritized the opportunity to like make it happen and like do the course, actually like, you know, like be legit. But I've done and like I know what I'm doing for the most part. I just like don't have the certification, you know. But yeah, I love Reiki. It's real. Energy is so real. And, yeah. Have you?
She's given me like a few sessions, like, you know, quick little things, and I noticed a big difference. Like I'm just like way more ready for the day. And I did have one other lady do Reiki on me one time, and that was really amazing too. But yeah, and sometimes I'll even just do like a self Reiki, even though like I don't really know what I'm doing, but I'm just kind of clearing the energy, and it really does help.
It's funny you say you don't know what you're doing, but you do intuitively.
Yeah.
I keep hearing I don't know what I'm doing. I don't have a certification. It don't matter. I don't have one either. But you know what? I have testimonials from people that I know what I'm doing. Just because I don't have this fancy little piece of paper that, you know, says, hey, look, you're good at this. You can do this. It doesn't mean anything. So when people have that mentality, I don't know what I'm doing, but you do, because you were just doing whatever felt natural to you. That means your prior selves and your other lifetimes are kicking in. Your higher self is saying, this is what you do. This is how you do it. And each person, just because you're taught a certain way, it doesn't mean that you practice that way. You can have your own way of practicing. Like when I do my healings, they're very unique. And when I do them, when people come back, I do them the same way. They're the same, but that's what I feel comfortable. That's how I connect. And I always ask permission. And it's like, it's all about intention for everything you do. When you want to heal yourself, when you want to heal others, it's all about your intention. So that's your calling in your higher self. And there's no right or wrong way. Same thing what I was mentioning in the tarot courses that I put out videos that I'm teaching is there's no right or wrong answer. It's just an option for tarot, just because of the timeline of what you're doing at this point, just an option. Doesn't mean anything. It can change based on our energies, what we put out, what we say, what we speak, what we do. And we kind of mentioned this on our previous roundtable, and it's all about everything is connected energetically. Even your thoughts create energy into the ether. And that's when people, they think negatively, they put that negative energy into the atmosphere or into the ether. And then that comes along. And then when you start to drop that vibrational level, they just leech onto you, all these leeches. And so I also wanted to make sure that when people do, I mean, there's little things like I do, each person's different, is we give energy away so freely. And I kind of want to mention this to people when I do my sessions, we just give our energy away all the time freely. That's just what we do. That's just part of who we are. And that's what we're meant to be giving individuals and giving it. And we give our energy away so freely. As when I do my energy healing sessions, I have the person, when they close their eyes as we're doing the session together, I have them start to pull in their energy, pull it back from the universe. That's your energy that you've given away. And I have them pull it in through the top of their head, through the bottom of their feet, and through their heart. So we have 3 points of contact the energy flows through you. And I have them pull this energy in, and that's your energy you've given away. And when I work with their guides and I'm clearing away things that are there that need to be cleared. And there's a lot of people when I'm doing healing sessions, they fall asleep within the first 5 minutes. They're out in coma. And I have to bring them back at the end, like, come back to me. Are you there? And because that's good, that means they're relaxed. That means their energy is flowing. They're open. So that's what I want people to do. You don't have to do, but what I mean is you can do that yourself. You can visualize these things. And these are things that I tell people all the time. Like afterwards, like, what do I do afterwards? Do I have to book another session with you? I don't sell services to people that way because I feel like there's some mojo attached to that. And I know that the universe will put people in my path that need to be in my path. And I believe that wholeheartedly. And I feel like I'm more open energetically that way when I'm not forcing somebody and they're open energetically. I tell them, if your guides feel that's something you need to do, look me up again. We'll get another session booked, but I don't push it. And I always tell people after my sessions, like, what do I do? What do I do? I tell them, starts with you. You have to, I gave you the kickstart. I got the energy flowing again. Now you have to work on it. You have to work on these things. Let go of things that have been bothering you. Let go of these racing thoughts. Pull this energy in that you've given away to everybody, your children, your animals, the people you work with, your siblings. Everybody gets a little piece of you every day. And and a lot of times we'll take energy from them, good or bad, and we forget to sever those ties. We forget to sever those ties from people. And when we do those things, what I mean by severing, you can actually do it yourself, or you can call in your, archangels and angels and ask them to sever all the energy ties that do not belong to you or not of your highest light and love. Mm-hmm. And do that in your own way, however you want to do that. And you'll be surprised when you'll start to disconnect from all these energy ties from people and things that have been sucking them from you, even voluntarily or involuntarily. But it's just, we everything is energetic, everything, good or bad. And I want people to realize that we control our energy fields, and we forget that. We've been taught to not do that. We've been taught to give. The energy you get from other people, there's no such thing as the energy. If you can't touch it physically, it doesn't exist. But tell that to somebody who puts their finger in the light socket. You know what I mean? So it exists until you put your finger in there. All of a sudden, you're getting shocked. And so that stuff does. It's for sure legit energy. Everything you do. So that's kind of what I wanted to springboard into. Kind of what I would suggest for people. I know I've felt things like symptoms. People have had these symptoms. I don't know. I can only speak to me. I've had sometimes such excruciating headaches, and I have had a history of migraines, and I stopped having those some years ago now. Thank goodness. But I had this one episode, and I feel like it was a spiritual attack on me at the time. And my mom, I was here visiting at the time where I moved, where I live now, but where I was here visiting while she was in the hospital, and I had this spirit, I think it woke me up at like 3:00 in the morning, and I felt like the back of my head was being ripped apart, like something was on fire and was pulling my head apart. It hurt so bad. I just sit there and rocking, and I felt like, and when I was able to release this energy around me, I could feel like it felt like somebody was ripping my skull open, and I almost was going to go to the hospital. And I'm like, am I having a stroke? What is going on? I mean, I was in such pain. And I mean, and I couldn't see anything, but energetically, I knew something was not normal. So, I mean, there's so much things that it's just all everything is energy, everything, good or bad. So I just wanted to, I'll shift it over to you. I mean, what do you want to say about that there, Dennis?
I'm just getting downloads.
Well, that's even better.
But they're off topic.
Okay.
It's okay.
That's nothing wrong with that.
Speaking of, like absorbing everyone's energy, I've always been in the restaurant industry. And so I'm talking to tons of people every single night, and I basically, what I do is I take a shower and I just wash all of it away is one thing. Or I like to do like the actual, like kind of an like invisible cord cutting. So like I cut them off my mind, off my heart, like my throat, like I just like kind of just go down like basically all my chakras, kind of like a Reiki, like just like a quick little Reiki session. So I definitely have like had to do that. And there's times where I get lost for weeks at a time, and I'm like, what is going on? Like, oh yeah, I have all this energy I'm like not really doing anything with, and it's like definitely can really absorb me. And like it's crazy if you get lost in the sauce. Like you gotta really focus and like make sure you're taking care of all of that.
The chakras and Reiki are all new to me.
Yeah.
I went from being where I was, trying to struggle away from the past and into the Native American spirituality. And now we're getting into chakras and Reiki and stuff. And that's something I've got to work on, I guess.
One of the things I'd like to comment about the ladies, I ordered my package from them, and I'm wearing them. I got a couple bracelets. The wife already took one, just saying. She had two, but I got one back. But there was a little sack in there that you sent me something nice. A little free little card, little sticker. That is special to me. Because, see, you're giving. It's not expected. It could be something small. But you see, that's the heart. Whether, I mean, you do it because you're driven to do so. Okay, that's a giving, that's a warmth, that's a light. And when I received that, those little things were actually more special to me than the bracelets I ordered, because it was the intent. Now, I'm sure you do that with a number, or if you do it randomly, however you do it. But that to me was extremely special. And when you do things like that, it energizes what you've given. And see, people aren't really good at accepting gifts. You know, they really aren't. We go, whether it's Christmas time or once, but if you just hand someone something, people don't know what to do. You know, it's okay. It's okay to take it. It's okay to take a gift. That's the intent behind it. It's because someone else wanted to. That's the power. And you accepting that gift, that's the power. It's
We're
something
still
so
stuck
very
in that.
small.
Stuck in
you're
that mantra of it is better to give than to receive. And once you got that into your mind, then receiving is something that kind of a taboo to you, you know?
Mm-hmm. You're exactly right. You're exactly right. But that's what I'm saying. Just that little intention, that magnifies. It really does. It magnifies. And see, everything's kind of energy with me, emotions. You know, when you get things, and there was a little note in there because I had talked with you guys on the internet, and I appreciated it. Thank you. That was extremely special to me. It wasn't a typed out thing. It was handwritten. Who does that? Me. You girls are young. That was so impressive to me. That was very heartfelt. You know, most people don't take the time to write something at the keyboard, typing. That is also intent. Could you have typed that out and printed it out? Sure, in a second like that, boom, you wrote it out. People don't understand that aspect of it. That's going above and beyond what you would call a sale. Okay, that's why people come back to you. But again, that I'm not trying to give you a boost. I'm trying to tell people what you do. That to me was extremely special, and it's those things that keep making us better and better. I mean, when we look around the world, we've all had terrible things that happen to us.
Yeah.
But if you don't appreciate the very little things that are so beautiful, that's what makes this world a better place. That what makes our spirit rise and climb. But again, I wanted to thank you. And since we were on that topic of energy and giving, that was powerful to me. That really was. And it's those things that I don't think, well, I mean, I think a lot of the audience gets that, but maybe for the newer people, I'm just saying those are powerful tools. I just wanted to mention that.
I just want to chime in. I know that they probably want to mention that too, and I'm totally down for promoting you guys. I mean, I believe what Jay said, and I believe in promoting people with good intention. And I'm not saying, I know we all have to get through this everyday life. You know, we understand that, mouths to feed, things like that. We understand. And but like what Jay said, you took the time. I even kept it. I don't keep things like that. I'm not a memento type of guy or whatever. But you know what? I have the sage that you kind of put in there in your little handwritten note. It's on my desk because I know there was intention there when you guys put it out. So that to me, like Jay says, it's something that hits me here in my heart instead of here. That makes it resonate with me more. And I like I said, once I started getting out of my own way with what I think, it doesn't always match with what I feel, because sometimes I always try to overthink things until it makes sense to me. And sometimes things aren't going to always make sense, if it doesn't feel right. And so I just wanted to say, absolutely. I mean, your guys' stuff has been amazing. I also have quite a few things that you guys have sent me as well, and I just, this rose quartz with the stand, this is pretty awesome. And I did put it against my heart. And actually, you know what? I could feel it. I could feel, honestly, that it was helping me, and another thing that I dig too is this honeycomb that you guys sent me. And actually, when I put it up against my third eye, I can feel it. I honestly, I know it sounds weird, but I honestly can feel it. Before I even start doing my cards for somebody's session, when I call in my guides, I do that. I turn the camera off so when people don't see me doing these weird little ritualistic things that they're not really ritualistic. I might have something a little different, but it's similar. I just feel that's what I should do. Mm-hmm. And it's so bad that we have labels for things. That's ritualistic. That's very this. It's very that. And it's whatever feels right to you. And I feel like that's what I do. So I just wanted to say springboard to you ladies about your products and I know that crystals I've always been into the crystals and things like that. So I don't know, maybe you guys want to even talk a little bit about your journey into how you even got into the crystals and these things as well. And so I'll leave it to you guys to take the floor.
Yeah. So I guess on that note about the note, so it's not just us. Parents are also very, very involved, and you guys would be surprised to hear Harley Rae live chats. It's usually our parents. So which
cool.
That's
who's doing the chat right now.
Yeah.
Awesome. That's
them. We're more the social media face, I guess, and they hide in the background. But yeah, my mom is the one who definitely was pushing the thank you notes, and so she has that very special intent there. And so basically it was so spontaneous starting business up. Kind of goes basically back to I guess I was the one that started to kind of be the black sheep of the family and be into crystals, and I brought crystals and a big bowl to make moon water when we went camping one year, and they're all this girl, I don't know. But yeah, so and then she kind of started to get all interested in it all and stuff, and then 2020 is basically kind of what happened with just everything. Everything shifted, I feel so much rabbit hole diving, all that stuff. Our parents definitely woke up in 2020, I think. And it's just been this upward spiral ever since then. And I don't know.
Well, yeah. So we were kind of, parents got into just the whole rabbit hole, and we did too, but that kind of woke them up, I guess. And then they started randomly getting into we just saw them watching Arcana Shores, and we didn't know what that was, but we just saw them watching this tarot card thing, and we're we do tarot. You guys have never been into that. What? So yeah, and then it's all intertwined. We all ended up meeting each other up, energetically, I guess. And then yeah, basically, I really feel just one day, my dad, or I don't know what happened, but we were all let's start up a crystal business. Let's just do it. Pretty much about it was just this whole just fast paced journey to all of a sudden now here we are, I think almost 6 months in, 5 months in or so, 5 or 6,
and thanks to the Soul Tribe we are thriving and we're loving it so much, and it's just the best thing that could have ever happened, and this is our future. We're doing this forever, and we have big visions, and we eventually want to end up in a shop and all kinds of things. So yeah,
that's awesome. And I feel that will happen for you, and I feel like you're going to have that sooner than you think.
Yeah.
I feel within, I'm getting goosebumps right now. So I feel maybe within the next year, I feel like you guys I think you guys have already started maybe possibly looking at possible locations.
Kind of, yeah.
Okay. So I'm picking up on your energy, then that's good. Okay. So that's awesome. So, when it came down to the crystals things, I was kind of, I was really not really into the crystal. They always look cool to me. I know some people would have them oh, that's cool looking, ooh, what is that? It's a cool looking rock or whatever. People would explain to me, but no one ever explained anything to me. And I started researching some of these things, okay, these crystals, so these are minerals from wherever, the earth, or if they come from a meteor or wherever. There's and then I started learning that there's properties for each one of these things. There's a reason why that they're there, and some of these things are only in certain areas of the world, only in certain places of the United States. So these things, there's specific reasons energetically I feel why they're in those locations purposely. I think we're in a huge energy grid, and that's a true story. And I feel like that's why things are in certain places, and I feel like that's why we're drawn to certain places. Like I moved back to Illinois from California, and I used to live literally like 20 minutes from where Jason lives. And I moved here like 2 years ago now because my mom died, and I moved back to be closer to my family. But my location after this, once Mr. T comes back, the beach. I'm gone, man. I'm buying a house on the beach, and I'm already retired. So I'm retired military. So I've had a rough go at it, but you know what? I'm very blessed to be as young as I am and be retired and have my everything taken care of. And same thing, the Soul Tribe kind of helped me out, and I was into the tarot and the psychics, and people thought maybe some of the stuff is like, well, you already know these answers. You just come to us and we just validate these answers. That's what the true story is. You kind of already know. So when they connect with your guides, a psychic or an energy person or a tarot reader, they're just picking up on the answers that you already know. And it's just reassuring to hear somebody. And that's what I feel like we forget that. It's hearing somebody say, that's exactly what's going to happen. That's what I thought. I hear that all the time in my readings. That's what I felt. That's what I feel. That's what I think. So, and so they already have the answers. And I tell them before I even ask, I'm like, what do you feel? I ask them sometimes that before I already know the answer to some of these questions. And as I'm pulling, I start to, before they even ask me the next question, I'm already answering questions to their next question, or I'll say something that ties into something later on that we'll talk about, separate topic, because the energy just starts to flow. And then the energy, once I start to say these things, I lock in, and we all lock in with our energy all the time. Like, I mean, for me, I had an energy session with the Woo Woo Dude's partner, his wife, and Julie Ann, and she was amazing. She's 30-minute session with me, and she was pulling stuff from me. I started crying. That's how, and she felt my energy from that far distance. She's like, wow, your energy is so magnetic, Jason. I could feel your energy. And I mean, and I even recorded all this and I sent it to people because of how amazed I was at these things that I already knew. But to hear somebody else pick up from the energy and just tell me without me saying anything, that tells me that exactly what I know is what I should know. And that just brings validation. So I started crying. Like St. Michael for me or Archangel Michael he's like my guide. Like he is on my shoulder all the time. And to hear that I've been in private counsel with him many times, I knew this already. And I've been fighting darkness since before history was written. There's things I've been told, and I knew this. And I've always been a soldier of the light, and I don't know why, and I always will. And I know all of you guys, when we talk about energy, we've been brought together for a reason. But we're all spread out all over the globe for a reason.
Strategically.
And we're here. Exactly. The energy grid, if you want to look at it from a logical standpoint. You are there, even if you don't interact with people, your energy alone, your energy field that we give this energy away, we talked about earlier, we just give it away freely. Our energy is out for others who are lower. We bring the energetic field across the board up in our location. That's why we're in these places that we get drawn to for a temporary time or permanently. Depends on whatever you feel pulled. There's a reason why you're being pulled that way, because the universe is like, you're needed here in this area for some time. And people need to realize we are where we're supposed to be at this time in your life. And us coming together wasn't by mistake. The coincidence thing, and I'm going to speak about the coincidence thing. There's no coincidences. And I'm starting to, I don't know about you guys, like I'm looking at synchronicities of different things. And like numbers. The numbers. My wife's like, you're insane with these numbers. And I've always been a math guy. Like math just comes to me super easy. And I'm a math guy. I mean, I'm a numbers man. Like 2 + 2. Yep, that makes 4. I can validate that, but does it really make 4? No. But when I started learning these things,
Not in some schools.
right? As a public education, But
5.
Exactly. But I was sitting there, and I'm a very logical thinker, and things just don't make sense to me. And once we kind of get over like our own selves. That's a huge thing. I'm not gonna lie. My pride, even to this day, that's something I work on. Like if I feel like somebody's demeaning me or like talking down to me, like I'm dumb or something like that, that just is like a button for me. That's like straight to the jugular for me. And I have to kind of calm myself. And I've been doing that. And people have been amazed, like my transformation, about how my temper used to be to 1,000 real quick. Not anymore. I don't do that. I just let it go. I don't care. And once we start to progress, and everything is progressing, but the synchronicities that I was mentioned about too, is I'm picking these things up more. I see 144 at least 4 to 5 times a day. I see, no joke, 333s, 444s, 222s, 111 at least once to twice a day, if not more. So I started picking up. So I was watching football. I'm a huge, even though I know it's all rigged and I know that, but I just like watching just to kind of get away from the crap. And that's something that I do. I know the NFL is bad, but you know, I don't watch it for the NFL ratings. I just watch it because I used to coach it, but I coach it from a pure place. So when I watch it as a coach. I don't watch it as a fan going, yay, he scored a touchdown. You know, nothing like that. So I just watch it to kind of take my mind and some of the things off of that, my everyday stuff. So I'm watching these things and something came to me. I got a download right after I saw this orb go past me a couple days. It was like a night or two ago. It all kind of runs together. And all of a sudden something told me numbers. Listen to the numbers in this game. I was watching the Sunday night game with Tom Brady and the Bucks against the other team. I forget what it is. I forget the team. Top of my head. But long story short is I was going through this and I started listening to the numbers they were talking, like first down in this, that whatever they were saying. And I started adding these numbers up. And then I started saying, you know what? I started figuring out a pattern. And I said, okay, after I heard these numbers, I said, this number will make a play next. And my wife's like, no, you're just making things up now. And not 5 seconds later, the person I say was going to make a play before anything was even going. And I started doing this. The more I started picking up on these synchronicities, I watched the game. I could literally call play, like who was getting the ball or who was going to be around the ball at that time because of the numbers they were throwing out. And I was like, wow. And it came down to it. I looked at something says, look at gematria. That's all numbers based. So I looked up, I said, Bucks. Who was the team that they played out? Cowboys. Thank you. So it was Bucks I put Bucks versus Cowboy, or that's what it was. And I put that in the calculator and the number that came up was 22. I looked at the score. It was 19-3 in the third quarter. I told my wife, not another point will be scored the rest of this game. And she says, no way. It was the middle of the third quarter. Not a single point it finished out 19-3. So, I mean, it tells me like this stuff is not by coincidence. The things that they're saying out and the numbers you're seeing flash on the screens for the sports, just for the football that I could pick up on. And now I'm watching it. I'm like, instead of watching it the way I was watching it to count numbers now, which is, people say that's insane. My wife tells me you're insane sometimes with these numbers, but everything is tied together. And that's what I'm trying to, like, the numbers are real and they speak to us through numbers and everything is numeric. And that's why the 19-3, when I told her that, and she's like, and all the stuff I was able to spout off before it would happen, she's like, maybe there is something to this. I mean, and she's awake, don't get me wrong, but to her though, the gematria and the numbers thing, because she hates math, she'd rather not even talk about it. And that's just her personality. She's a feeler and she's a very good empath, and she'll know exactly. She tells people when they're pregnant before they even say anything. So she comes up, you're pregnant.
I've done that.
I'm
10 for 11.
Girl, she'll know right when you walk in, your energy, she'll feel it. And she'll tell you right off the bat if it's a boy or a girl and what you're pregnant with. So she's very in tune. So, Dennis is breaking up now. But I mean, the things are so crazy. And I'm sure the NBA's like that and the NHL and all these things, they talk to us through the numbers. I obviously know these things are all put out, but the fact that I just got a download out of nowhere to tell me to start listening to these numbers, that tells me my guides are saying, pay attention. These things are going to make sense after a while. And that's what I feel like I'm doing. And I feel like a lot of you are probably having that similar thing. You're picking up on things that you may not have. What are some of the things that you may have picked up on recently, Jay, that you never used to pick up on before?
Well, I'll tell you this thing I did with Harley Rae is I had my invoice from them, just like you, numbers. Yes, I will tell you exactly what I did. Guilty of it. I took all the numbers and I added them up, individually across the whole thing. I'm a 3 guy. If the numbers divide by 3, I'm good. And in fact, even my alarms are set that way. In other words, I can have an alarm that is 6 o'clock. It can be divided by 6, can be divided by 3. But say I have, and this isn't OCD, it's just a number that's I've always done it. Let's use 1246, okay? Or no, excuse me, let's use 1245. If you add those numbers across 1, 2, 4, or 4, 5, it totals 12. And that's divisible by 3. I don't even do it on purpose. I just set my alarms like that. The numbers going across have to add up to 3. This is kind of beyond OCD. It's just how I've always been. And yes, I added up. That's how goofy I am. I added up all the numbers on the invoice, the address numbers, the everything. It was divisible. It was divisible by 3. And it's kind of, I don't buy things. I really don't. So I was kind of shown, I had this inspiration to buy from you. I don't buy things. I just don't. It's not something I do for myself. I used to a lot, but it's just something that it's kind of one of those things I do. I hear something, I feel the resonance. I go with that. I understand where these things are coming from for your heart. Sure, everyone wants to make money. But there's a goodness about it. There's a light about it. And like I said, I don't normally do that, and I did. If you don't mind me saying, Jason, real quick, Beachgoer 209, we're getting taken care of you in Arcana Shores. Just want to let you know. They were blocked by accident from one of the moderators, and sometimes it takes a little time for YouTube to populate that. So bear with us. I saw their name in the chat. I just wanted to throw that out there. So be patient. We're sorry.
How about you, ladies? Have you guys, what are some of the things you guys have picked up on, like patterns of things? I mean, I'd like to hear some of your experiences from another perspective. It'd be awesome.
Well, actually, something today, I got in my car to come here so we could do this live, and right when I got 144.
Yeah, I knew you were going to say that.
I was out at lunch with my kids, and I told her I saw 144 time, obviously, but yeah.
You realize that's 9, right? 144, 9 is divisible by 3. Again, another number. It's
so good. Another 9 thing. Okay, so my address, just for the numbers, is 1224 as of to 9. The house I sold and moved to this one was 20016 as of to 9. And these, I'm like, there's no, there's not a coincidence that's exactly 369 or whatever, how you want to talk about it. But I'm like, just how the universe progresses you in your journey. It amazes me. But yeah, the 144 thing, I've been seeing that for months. I mean, 2 to 3 times a day or more. I mean, the most, I think maybe 6 in a day in some form or another, 144, and every time I look at my phone or something pops up, 1044, whatever, 144. And my wife's like, because zeros mean nothing in numerics. Right. So it's just, you remove the 0. So 1044. And I tell my wife, I show her my phone. I'm like, so you don't think I'm crazy? She's like, she starts to smile now. I'm starting to come around with the numbers for these things. So how about you, Dennis? What are some of the things that you've noticed? If you've noticed numbers or patterns or anything that you've picked up on throughout your journey from the 90s, I can only imagine.
Actually, right now, can you hear me?
Let's not forget about his downloads either. He was getting a download. I don't want to get missed.
If he wants to share them, I mean, it's up to him.
Are you able to hear me now?
Absolutely.
Oh, so my energy keeps going wacko in here. It's not flickering the lights, but you guys are all on and off screen. It's going haywire. So the download that I got was Israel. And you break it up, Israel. And then you put a question mark at the end. Is Ra L, and L is God. So is Ra
yeah.
God?
Yeah.
So I found that pretty interesting. But other than that, 1111 on occasion, but the most prominent is 777. And I haven't, well, occasionally a 222, but that's about it. And that's all within the last 3 years or so.
So I had a dream a few months back, and it was a crypto dream. And I actually had another one last night, but I looked at my bank account or my crypto account, and I just saw 8. Like it just was so many eights in a row. I was just like, wow. So, and I started, that's what the numbers thing is like. Okay. And then I had a dream last night. I don't remember what the numbers were, but I remember opening my bank account and looking at my 2 different accounts. And I just remember seeing thousands and thousands of dollars in my accounts. And I was just like, wow. And I don't know if that's just spirit telling me it's coming, just relax. I think it's a couple of times. I don't ask for these things. They just tell me, and I know we all have our worries about things, money, and that's usually because that's what they make it important. Unfortunately, that's what we've been taught. And money has
my
no
account number.
Right. Yeah. I'll do a bank transfer. So, but
yeah, there you go.
Remember from the last show, I was seeing dollar signs and I didn't understand that. It's dollar signs. Sometimes it takes days, sometimes it takes time. Could that have been what you're talking about? Possibly.
Could be.
I don't know. I still haven't figured it out.
And I get so many messages all the time. Like it just sometimes they don't make sense to me right away, and until I kind of center myself. And like lately I've been like, I was jazzed up with energy, man. I just use the word. I mean, I was freaking hyper. I don't know why. I'm not a super hyper guy. But it's like, I was like jacked. Like after the Queen died, like that night we did our roundtable, like lights were flickering all over the place. Lights are going up for me. Dennis is flickering lights. I mean, my computer like crashed like in the middle of the stream. I tell them, keep it going while I can reboot my computer. I've never had anything like that happen. Like we were having so many technical difficulties that day, and our energy was bringing it up. And like ever since then, like, I mean, I've had so many crazy like dreams and things, but just even the last few nights I've been having, besides the regular symptoms that we all have. I know we've had headaches, muscle aches, you're going to have achiness, stuffiness. Maybe you might feel like you're stuffy at times, like Jason yesterday during the live stream. Before we were going to do our energy healing, every time before he does an energy session with me, he gets stuffy that like right before we go to do it. And it's crazy. And like people are like these energies, like just always around, and they're feeling all these different symptoms, upset stomach. You may be, having the squirts once in a while, and all these other things that people are maybe nausea, maybe even vomiting, headaches, sleepless nights, like just random feeling, just jittery, maybe things. Those are some of the things like people are felt, throughout the time. And so I just want to say, for a suggestion for people, what I've noticed has helped me in the ringing of the ears. There was a time like I always get ringing in the ears because I have very bad tinnitus from the military, but it's gone almost now. Like I don't hear, like I've been healing it. And the thing is when I get these ringing in my ears, sometimes it's so loud. It's almost, I swear you could probably almost hear it from outside of my ears. And it's so like, and the pressure changes when I'm hearing these things. But I had this one experience where, I mean, I get this all the time with the ringing, but I had something that sounded like Morse code in my ears before. I don't know if any of you experienced that. It was sound like Morse code. It was like, like it was like somebody was giving me a message, like I was getting a download from a spaceship or something, is what I felt. And it was like, it was so like vibrational, like and it was weird. I don't know. Have you experienced any of that? Dennis or the ladies or Jay, I'd like to hear your guys' experience if you've experienced.
Let the ladies go.
Well, I definitely have experienced the ringing in the ears, and it is like a whole, like everything goes weird for a second, like the pressure, like you said, it's definitely like, it's interesting. I've never had the Morse code though. It's always kind of like a I don't know, I always like do this, like it just is an elongating, like weird, like tuning out of reality for a second type of sound. Like
Yeah, I'd say the same. I'd say, I think for both of us, actually, like our biggest ascension symptom is probably like the brain fog, really bad.
No, I get it. I
How
get
about
it.
you, Jay?
I usually get tones. I don't get the ringing. Tones are what comes with downloads for me. It's either on the right side or it's the left side, and sometimes it's both. Morse code. I
Sometimes,
used to do Morse code in the military back in the 70s. So yeah, I used to
pretty
get that.
cool.
Here, go through school, learning how to do Morse code and catching it on a radio waves. And you get done with that, and about you're still doing it all night long when you're sleeping. You're hearing Morse code and
Yep.
stuff like that. Yeah, it's crazy.
How about you, Jay?
Well, the other night when I got a download, I was kind of stuck in that trance for a little bit. I kind of went back and watched the video, and I was rocking most of that time. I couldn't get out that funk, and like the lady said, that's when I get this brain fog. It's kind of hard to get out of it. But I have heard the beats that do sound like Morse code. I usually count them, and there's usually a pattern in there. Do I make sense out of it? No, I don't. I wish I could, but it's generally, to me, it's still a frequency, but within the frequency, there's a pattern.
Sure.
It's kind of like if you just take the time to listen to it, and I think since maybe I'm kind of attuned to numbers, like you all have been seeing the 144 and all that, I feel a pattern if it's a pattern, and it's no different than seeing a number. But when those come, there's usually something after. That means like I'm going to get either a download later, or it may come real shortly. But usually the Morse code, that's a calm. That's usually a calm thing. I'll hear that usually in the mornings when I get a calm download. It definitely, and how you drew out that brain fog, you went like this with your hand. Sometimes that kind of last couple beats that I hear that are in a pattern, it's almost like a tone, like Dennis says, it just kind of fades off. Odd. It has something to do with whatever we're feeling, some kind of energy. I just thought I'd give my experience.
It's amazing. And so like I've even had it, what's helped me, like I used to get like change in pressure, almost like I was like diving or something. And I'm like, and my ears would just like, it was almost like something was almost like a suctioning feeling. That's what I can, like putting your hands over your ears or something. And it would get the ringing, it would increase. And like I said, sometimes I get it on the left and I used to get it on the right, and I used to get it both. But the Morse code thing was a few times. And what's helped me throughout this journey is when as soon as I start to hear the ringing or the Morse code or whatever I might feel that I know it's not my energy, or my head tingles or whatever I might feel, I start to say, okay, I'm open and I'm ready to receive this energy, this download. And when I say that I'm ready to receive this download, because those are your guides energetically helping you, and you're getting energy downloads. This is exactly what I feel as well. And we talk about, the universe bringing us together. You did Morse code, literally, and we're talking about Morse code in my ears.
I picked up on
like,
that.
Right. There's no odds to these. The odds is just, you can't. They're just non-calculable at this point with the things that we talk about, and what people are. So when I get these things, like when I'm getting these, even upset stomach or whatever it might be, or aches and pains, and I actually had some crazy stuff happen the other day in my sleep. I always ask for. I'm like, okay, I'm open and ready to receive this energy download, and it goes away pretty quickly after that. And it's not as long. I feel like it doesn't take as big a toll on me, because we're trying to resist these things, like what's going on, or am I hearing this? What's going on? We resist. And what we're doing is we're still going to get the energy, but we're pushing the energy as much away as we can. And that's why it's harsher on you, and it lasts longer. And these symptoms keep coming back, because they're like, you're going to get this energy, even if I have to shove it down your throat, or wherever you want to look at it. But it's all
Leroy Gibbs. A little smack in the back of the head. Slow down and listen.
Exactly. And I was sleeping 2 nights ago, dead sleep, and I was on my left side, and I felt like I got shocked with electricity, and it came through my right foot, between my heel and the ball of my foot, and I felt it was like a shock, and it went up, traveled in through my leg and out through the top, and I felt it go through my whole body. From a dead sleep, woke me up, and I felt I was getting electrocuted. And I was like, whoa. And it didn't scare me. I didn't feel freaked out. Like my heart wasn't, I was like, oh, what just happened? I knew it was something energetically. And I wasn't at that point where, like, before something happened to me, like, what the heck? I'd have these dreams or freaked out. And all of a sudden I wake up and I'm like, my heart would be pounding. Like, what was that? Was that real? What just happened? I'm beyond that point now, because I've asked my guides and my spirit guides. And actually about 6 months ago now, I told them I'm ready for my soul mission on this planet, what I'm here for. No matter what, I'm not afraid. I'm open and ready for this journey. Push this journey now. Don't hold back on this journey because I'm scared, or there's things I'm being afraid of as we move along. I told them I'm ready for this now. Don't slow it down. And it's been like balls to the wall for me, to use the expression, for me. And I've expanded so much when I'm like, I can pick up people's energy and I know what's going on. I can read you by looking at your eyes exactly what's going on in your life, probably. And that's something that I've been very thankful for. And I know all of you have these gifts too.
Really?
And it's just being open to receiving. That's the message that they want me to tell everyone, is be open to receiving these gifts, because we all have them. The energy is there. You give your energy out, take it back. And plus the light that's coming to you and all these gifts that you've been given, because you're a divine being like God, you are of God. And people realize we're superheroes, and we've forgotten those things. And that's exactly what I want people to realize. Don't be afraid of this journey. I had a client, and what she mentioned to me is, I was reading for her the other day, and she tells me, I've been doing so many things. I've been working on myself, and I'm really working on myself. I'm afraid I'm not going to make the ascension with the rest of you.
No.
And I told her, I said, release that. As soon as she told me that, Spirit literally poked me on my shoulder and told me, tell her stop. And I told her, I said, stop that. I said, they're very proud of you. And I started getting these downloads and started telling her, I'm like, they're very proud of you. They're very proud of the work you've been doing. That's where it starts. You're working on you. You're increasing your vibration. You're increasing your knowledge. You're helping others and you're giving love as you want to receive. And that's what your purpose is in this life, is to work on you. That's what people don't realize. We're here to work on us. And I know it sounds selfish, but if we're not working on us, we can't be effective for others if we're not working on ourselves. And that's where it starts. We're giving. God was very giving. He gave us life. That's why do you think that the darkness fights so hard for our souls? It's because we are magical. We're magical, and people need to realize that these things are coming to us, and it's what's happening. It needs to happen. This is karmic. This is a cycle that's completing. You're going to have these things, and to be open to these. We're all gifted, even with you ladies, just sending your crystals and your healing things out. Even if you don't do Reiki healing on whatever it is, even if you do a little blessing or however you guys do, when you send it with your intention of holding this, touching it, packaging it, you're transferring your beautiful energy into that, because you want to help. I'm getting goosebumps telling you this right now. That tells me Spirit's telling me that's exactly what they need to hear. So you guys are making a huge, you're helping humanity with just by transferring the energy that you guys are presenting. You guys are doing beautiful things. Same thing with you, Jay. People, they call you the rock star for a reason. And it's not just a term, but it's a term of endearment for you. This telling me that you have helped so many people. And you just mentioned, I just got off the phone with somebody before we started the show, and I had to help them. Yeah. Shaman or whatever you want to call it. And you're using your energy and these newfound gifts that you're using and you're developing to help others. And these things are going to start to flow to you. Same thing with you, Dennis. I know you've been awake, and your energy, I felt you from the beginning, and people gravitate to energy that is just caring, loving, and just wholesome. I keep seeing wholesome. And that's what I feel like when I feel someone's energy. I know right away. And I feel like that's the reason why the energies that we've been brought together, there's no coincidences that we've all come together for this reason. Because when we get together, our energy is so off the charts. I mean, we're having energy issues and computer issues and sound issues. And that's because our energy is this low frequency stuff that we're around can't handle us. And that's the reason why that they fight and fight and fight for us. And same thing with our animals. Our animals are very high vibrational beings. And that's why they constantly poisoning them just like us. Just with the stuff they put in them, it's because they want to consistently drop the energy down where it can vibrate at the level that the darkness likes to hang out in. And we're above that. The 144,000, up here in the altitude or wherever they want to say. I mean, that's where we're starting to, if you're not there already, you're going to be there. You're going to be able to see things from a way different perspective on how the world, I know my outlook on the world, I can only speak to myself, and I'm going to go around. I want to see, I know this is not the world I grew up in. I can tell you that the world that I thought it was isn't the world that we live in. I can say that wholeheartedly, and I know that, and it's disappointing, but it's also enlightening for me to know that I know the things that I know now. So I'll go to you at first, Dennis, and just tell me same thing about how you feel the world was and what you feel, how you think the world is now. I mean, what we've been taught.
Well, the veil has opened up a little bit, but it hasn't opened up completely for me. I still miss the things that were going on when I was a child, but even then there was a lot going on that I didn't know because I was a child. But it's not what I expected it to be when I was in.
Dennis froze now. See, I'm telling you. I just
that happened to him last show.
I'm telling you.
To grab my charger. I'll be right back.
All right. Let me fill in. He's not there.
Yeah.
When he comes back, we'll go right to him. You mentioned about these energies, these gifts, and about going inside. Is he back?
No.
Still stuck. Okay. I don't do many videos. Sometimes I'm compelled to, but I did one about the treasure inside. In other words, I basically, to sum it up, it was, a lot of times you see in the chat, what's my mission? What am I supposed to do? What's my purpose? And the gist of my video was, from what I was being shown, it's you. Okay. The path is you. The love is you. It all starts within you. It's not what you're supposed to do. What you're supposed to do is take care of you. That is not selfish. But as you're coming up, we help everyone. I just kind of wanted to bounce off that energy that you had there, Jason. But, I had done that a few weeks back. And but it is important to know that, okay, let me give you an example. What if your mission is just being a mom? Okay, is there something so wrong with that? I mean, from a person who loved his mother beyond compare, just like you, Jason, there is nothing more powerful than a mother's love and a mother. I mean that, ladies. But what I'm saying is don't look at this and go, is that all I'm here to do? That's the seed. That's the start of so many beautiful things. That's what people don't realize. If what you're doing, don't look at it as mundane, please. As long as you're working, you're putting in some time. I mean, these ladies had a thought to open up a crystal store, 6 months ago? Okay. Hello. That's the end. That's when all these things started happening. That's the synchronicity of it. It wasn't just a coincidence. It all ties in. But again, don't feel like you're not doing something as long as you're working on you. Do we have you back, Dennis? But if you're working towards a better you or focusing inwards, I mean, like many people, I've knocked down more than half of who I listen to. I don't need to listen to anybody. I do, but I listen to them for one, what they have to say, but see, my energy is guided towards the chat and the people in the chat. Look, you'll never please everybody. That's the bottom line. But my mission is to help people that need help. And it could be just as little as a shoulder to cry on, someone to cry with on the phone, someone to hear because they don't have anyone to talk to like us. They have nobody. That's part of my gifts. I'm consoling. I mean, I understand, I empathize. That's energies and feelings. That's what I have. I'm human. Just the other day I wanted to chop somebody up. I'm just letting you say it's not all unicorns and rainbows, okay? It's okay to think these things sometimes. But again, I'm just saying that don't make this work. Make this about a better you, about a better you. And you're allowed to be human. You're allowed to be human. As long as you keep that vibration up. Yes, I wanted to chop the person up. I admit it. It's okay. But it was out of love. That's all I want to say. It was out of love.
Entertainment purposes only, but not really.
But not really.
Not to you, Jason.
Oh.
So, how about you, ladies?
It really is about doing everything with intent, like doing everything intentionally, like just being, like do it with your intention and just, I don't know. You're more about that. She's like really good at the whole energy and doing the things with intention.
Yeah. Well, I want to say kind of just off of what you were saying just now of like, I used to like listen to everyone and like, okay, well, like this is how this person is doing it and they're doing great. They seem so happy and that's what I need to do. And like, I finally have like really come to just listening to me and my intuition and like checking in with myself before I'm, consuming so much and more like creating from, just myself. And like she said, just doing everything with intention is so, so important. That's like the whole key to it, like if you do something without intention, like it's just going to come out so much differently.
It's frankly a waste of energy. I mean,
Yeah.
put your love into it, to put your soul into it. It took me a long time to get where I'm at, but I don't talk like most men. I do talk about vibrations. I do talk about healing. I do talk about heart. I talk about emotions. I can smell them. Okay. We gotta, as Jason said, when he started letting things go, there's a growth about it. There's a wisdom about it. There's a knowledge about it. When you can talk freely and openly, as long as you're talking from a sense of intent, you can deliver things very easily. Good news doesn't always come out nice, and it does depend on the vibration of the other person. But as long as your intent is pure, that's like certain people say, oh, don't say these words, or, as long as your intent is good, it's okay. You know what I mean? And when you get those bad thoughts, like wanting to chop somebody up, push it aside. Okay. It was fun to think about chopping them up. Push it aside. I'm just saying, but
Yeah,
I wish them love after that. I wish them love after that. But you don't have to be a walking on water type of person. Yes, raise your level, do your best, be the best person you can be. Put yourself in those other people's shoes. Take a moment, stand in their energy. A lot of people, and one of the things we have to, I was talking with Gypsy Mama today, and hi Gypsy, if you're out there. We really have to start trying to expand upon what we mean. In other words, we think everyone knows what we're talking about. Sometimes it takes a little bit more of a definition or a little bit more of an explanation. I'm guilty of it, and I saw that fault. Gypsy she added on to something I said in a video or in a chat, and I saw it to go even a little bit further, but she sparked me to go that little bit further. Each person is going through their own reality. Each individual person that's their reality. So now our energies are meshing with not just other people, but other people's realities. That's a big thing. But if we can get those to mesh and come together, and as long as you're higher vibration, and I get some people think that's a curse, some people don't understand it. Doing the right thing. Just what's right is right. Not lying. I'm a person that hates lies. I really do. But doing the right thing isn't always easy. Being honest. Let's face it, we all sometimes will stretch the truth as to not to hurt someone's feelings. That's acceptable because your intent isn't to harm. I'm not saying that's the best course of action. I'm just trying to give an example of, we don't have to take this so serious that it's, like I had mentioned one time about people meditating. People go into meditation like it's a football game. They're getting ready. I'm boom, I'm down. I'm okay. Everything's calm. Go in there with love. Take a happy thought. Take a smiling thought. You heard a little baby giggle or cry. Take that moment into that meditation with that good feeling. That's meditation. Dennis, you here?
I hope I'm here for the rest of it.
We got you.
Did your computer crash this time like mine did last time?
It must have. It keeps going. Y'all, all three of you, keep blinking in and out on me, and then just quit.
That's that energy. I'm telling you, the dark cult can't hold us.
Well,
Man.
it's not flickering the lights today. It's crushing the chat.
Yeah, man. I agree with what you're saying, though. I mean, it's all intention. And I tell these, I blew someone's mind the other day, and when I was doing a reading for them, and like I told her about the reality thing, and like we were talking about intention. I told her, I said, it comes from your heart. Everything you do is intentions. But then when I told her something that kind of blew her mind, and she's like, I'm super awake. I mentioned something about realities to her. I said, for instance, I have brothers and sisters, but I said, and other people that I know, but when they're not in my immediate vision, they don't exist. If they're on their own timeline doing their own thing, if that makes any sense to anybody.
Complete.
And the thing is even though they will come, because we're walking our path, they're walking their path. And eventually that they come into our reality as well. We intermingle, our energies connect, and then we move on our own paths. So these people don't even, I don't know. These people could be time travelers. I don't know. I'm just saying, what I mean is the thought process of these people don't exist in my reality unless they're in my immediate, in front of me. Other than that, they don't exist. And I've started looking at it that way. And I don't know why something came to me that way. And I've been getting these random downloads, but that just made sense to me. All of a sudden I get these aha moments. Mm-hmm. Like I'll be in the shower and I'll be sitting there, like she mentioned, Harley Rae was like, I just kind of wash all these things. I do that as well. That's another thing I kind of do. And I kind of just act like, okay, when this water's coming over me, I'm just washing all energy and all things that don't belong to me. So that's part of my little thing. But when I'm there, I'll get as the water's hitting me, I have my eyes closed and I'm just kind of, because I think I go in the energy from the water too is also vibrational. Mm-hmm. So I feel like that has something to do with it. Plus we're made of water. So I feel like our frequencies kind of connect. Exactly. And it's a conductor. I feel like a water is a conductor, just like for electricity, water it's a conductor. And when I feel these things, I get these downloads and all of a sudden I get an aha moment. Like I should do this. I need to do this or something that maybe didn't make sense. Oh, that makes sense now. Like I'll start, it'll be a story almost in my mind that'll come back. Maybe something I had, like I mentioned, I get these things that happened before and all of a sudden I'll get this download and it's like I'll get this boom. Like I understand now why that happened the way it happened.
You still there, Dennis?
I get that, it's almost like relaxing for me. It's like, wow, that makes sense. Dennis is cutting out again, huh?
Is he frozen?
He's frozen. It's the glitch in the matrix.
I'd like to, okay, if Dennis comes back, but I'd like to ask you two a question. Sorry, you three.
No worries.
I have come to the conclusion that this life that we're living is a past life, past, present, and future all together. But as I'm growing, I realize that this has all happened before. This is a past life right now. Now, I'd like to hear what the ladies think of that and be honest. Okay, you know, I just want honesty. If you just go, nope, not at all, that's cool.
Yeah,
I'm
you're
just saying.
crazy.
Yeah, I'm just saying. Are you back, Dennis?
No, he's still
Oh,
frozen.
jeez. You know
Yeah.
what?
I could totally, for
Go
sure.
ahead.
I've always had like the premonition thing, kind of
Deja
like
vu.
I've always had like kind of like premonitions, almost like just within like days. Like I will have like kind of a thought, I'll dream something, and like then either the next day or like a day after, I'm like, I just had this dream, or I just like this just happened. Like what? Like it's so crazy. So I could totally agree with that for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
I kind of have the same thing as her. Like we both have really vivid, crazy dreams, and a lot are like either downloads or it's just something that happens in the next few days. Also, like just everyone that I know, like in this lifetime, like I've just definitely known them before.
Okay. Jason, we've talked, but share.
Same thing. I mean, you know, I feel like same thing. I can kind of just to piggyback off of what they were saying is I feel like coming together, this for yourself even. And Jason started, he called me his soul brother from the first day I was on the live chats, and I didn't even know him. And I was connected. I knew from the moment just listening to him and Kristen, I'm like, I'm connected to these guys. I don't know what it is, but I'm connected to them. And same thing when you and I started talking. You and I were talking about something, and my wife was telling me, wow, you must really trust, because I'm not a trusting person, because I open my heart to people and I get kicked in the balls, is what I always say. And I've always happened to me, or kicked in the nuts, whatever. And even my own kids like to do that too. But
Peanuts.
yeah, peanuts. So,
Walnuts.
but you know,
Peanuts,
and I was sitting there, and I honestly, it's just crazy. Like I'm not a trusting person. And like I start talking to you, and my wife even mentioned, she's like, you must trust him to talk about some of these things you're talking to him about with like a few conversations. And I was like, I do trust him. I don't know why. And I said, but I trust him. Like my soul was telling me to trust him. And like you mentioned, there's certain people like I feel like I've come in contact with. They've left my journey now, but they're here for a reason. But I feel like we were connecting, and then it was onto their life, and I believe that we are. I feel like here's what my thoughts are. I don't know why I feel this. I feel like there's multiple versions of us in multiple timelines. Our lowest self to our highest self, and I feel like everything and there's unlimited amount of us and unlimited galaxies and timelines and things is what I feel, but that's just me. And it was, I don't know. I feel like we do. And I feel like that's why when we see the worst of ourselves, maybe that's that lower self that's come up a little too much. And when we see the best of ourselves, I feel like that's the higher self saying you need to work. And I feel like our job here is to not get too low and not to get too high. And we're slowly trying to do is I feel like we have infinite, but there's the lower part of ourselves. I feel like the higher we crawl, the more lifetimes. I feel like our job is to work from the low. I keep seeing this pit, like you're crawling out of a pit or something. And I feel like our job as the lower selves is to start to crawl up the ladder to get to our highest self already, if that makes any sense. So every iteration of yourself below where you are, their job is to get to your level, and your job at this level is to get to the next level, and so on and so forth. Because if you're created from God, is what I feel. I don't know why I'm getting all this right now. I'm just going with it. I feel like when God created us, we were at the highest self possible, like he was, or she, or whatever. God is a man, woman. There's feminine and masculine, but I feel like when he created us as a divine being, is we were at the highest level as like what God was. And every iteration below us, our job is to try to crawl that ladder up to the highest self. So when we become whole with all these infinite selves, we become whole with our whole original highest level self. I don't know why it just came to me, but that's
I'm on
just,
the thing here, sweetie.
and I got a download the other day.
What?
The hourglass. I feel the earth is shaped like an hourglass almost. And the reason why I feel that is why I think that's why they made the hourglass the way it looks with the time. And I was sun gazing when I got this. So sorry, Jay, you're loud. So I'm gonna
My apologies. Sorry, the wife was here. I got to give her
No, no, no.
kisses. You know.
tell her, tell her I said hello. But what I was saying is I was sun gazing. I was standing on the ground barefoot, but I was sun gazing yesterday and before our live show with Jason and Kristen. And I got an hourglass, and I was thinking about the shape of because I see the sun, I see spots on the sun that look like spots on the moon. And I got another download that says, I don't know why I got the sun and the moon are the same, because I saw the same markings that you see on the moon on the sun.
Cool.
And I was like, does it just rotate? I don't know, because I feel like there's something spinning around the sun for some reason. When I see it, I see this energy spinning around the sun. And I got this download, like the earth is shaped kind of like an hourglass, where we have, because there's a dome on the top, as they say, and it's circular, but then there's the middle earth, and then there's another lower portion of the earth. And I feel like that's why they make the hourglass shape the way that they make. And I don't know why I got that. I don't know if it makes any sense, but when I looked into the sun and I was sun gazing, that's the download that I got right away, was hourglass. The shape of the earth is similar to that. Some people say donut shape. Some people say I don't know if it's flat, but I feel like I don't know. I just feel
it's not a ball.
I feel the energy, and I feel like it comes up in, and it's making a figure 8 around us. And that's why the energy field is the way it is. And that's kind of what I feel when I get these things. And I had these rainbow dreams, and I told you I revisited a rainbow world, and I don't know if I feel like this, maybe if this is the 9th dimension that I was shown the other day. And I've had multiple rainbow dreams, because I woke up from these dreams and I've been re-energized. Like I went to heaven. I feel like it was heaven. I went to heaven and I came back. I woke up ready to take on the world. And I had this kaleidoscope rainbow dream a couple of weeks ago. I was looking at this kaleidoscope of the world, and the shapes were changing, but everything was rainbow. And this was in a dream. And then last night, or 2 nights ago, or 3 nights ago, I had this dream too. Everything was pitch black. Like everything around me was just pitch black in my dreams. And all of a sudden, this rainbow came out of nowhere from the darkness. A rainbow came out, and the rainbow wasn't a normal rainbow. It was a rainbow, like it came from the blackness. If they say this is the blackness, it came out of the blackness, and it was touching everywhere around. But the rainbow had golden white light around it, so vibrant. And it was like illuminating the darkness. It came from the darkness and into the light. And I saw it twice in the same dream. So I'm like, okay, it was so amazing. I'm getting all these rainbow things, rainbow. And I was meditating yesterday before I sun gazed. And all of a sudden I started seeing all these colors just flowing like the rainbow around me. And I feel like I was consciously going to that level just from sitting there breathing and meditating. So I feel like I'm able to transfer in between. I feel like we do that all the time with all these dimensions. People say, are we in the 4D? Are we in the 3D? Are we in the 5D? Let that stuff go, man. And you will ascend, because that's a fear-based. If I'm not, because then people are like, well, if you're in the 4D, I want to be in the 4D. Well, if you're in the 5D, I want to be in the 5D. And what that's doing, that's not how things are created. So what they want you to do is just focus on the now, be present, be here, be with what you work on yourself in this moment. And you continue. We will travel between these dimensions. We do it all the time. And people don't realize that. I mean, they just came out with another show on Netflix called I didn't watch it, but it's called The Sandman. He's a traveler. Those are things like Michael Jaco even spoke of this. This guy travels everywhere. We're able to do these things because we do astral project. I do. I know I've astral projected many times, and I have these very vivid dreams. So, I mean, these are things we do on a constant basis. Even if we just sit here, if you ever zoned out, like you'd be watching something or you'd be looking at something and you just kind of just feel like you just stare and you're just like almost like a glitch for ourselves. I don't know about you. And, like, whoa, where did I just go? That was you going to another dimension and leaving what you're doing, even if you're kind of just staring. That was your energy for a reason. You had to either go to a higher dimension to heal something, to work on something. You temporarily, I mean, just because you were gone for a few seconds or whatever, that could be thousands of years in another timeline. We don't know these things, but I feel like that's why we have those moments, is when we leave, like all of a sudden you're like, oh, okay, I'm back to reality. And that's what I feel like people like, same thing. It's almost like a zombie effect, and not a zombie like in a bad way, but I mean, like, you just kind of, your senses just kind of almost toned down where you're not being overstimulated for a second. And that's when we kind of get that like stare or that.
Let's get Dennis back in on this before he glitches out again.
Absolutely.
I want to. Every time we go to him, it's like, boop, there he goes.
Is he frozen?
On mute.
Can't hear you, Dennis.
Oh, my computer's zoning out on me now.
There you
go.
It used to be when I zoned out. It was when I was driving, and that worries me.
A little.
I'd be going down the road, and the next thing I knew, I'm 20 miles ahead from where I was, and I couldn't remember anything.
Yeah.
But it's all acting all right now. I don't know what the problem is.
I don't know. I had my computer totally crashed last time too, and it's a brand new computer, and it was plugged into the internet directly. It's not even like a Wi-Fi, and my computer just went black and stopped, and I had to reboot it. Yeah. And then when it rebooted, it was being like it didn't know what it was doing when it was rebooting. It was like, hey, I don't know what to do. So it took forever for me to get back on.
Yeah, it's the same thing here, and we must be doing something right then.
If we are doing something right, we're always over target. The soldier of light. I'm telling you, I had one of my dreams that I mentioned before that I felt like it was the devil. I went through and they were hurting children, and I took care of all these bad guys, and I saved these children. And the last room I went into was a humongous person, like the biggest being I've ever seen in my life. I felt like a little ant. And he turned around as soon as he saw me, he said, "You again." So that tells me that, and I knew he was evil, and the darkness knows who I am. And that's why I feel, and I get goosebumps every time I feel that. And I know that a lot of you have had these dreams about children and these things that have been going on. There's a reason. And I've had dreams where I've thousands of troops around me that I don't know who they are, but they know me, and they come to me and they talk to me. And Jason is one of them. I didn't know who these people were. And all of a sudden I get all these troops around me, and they know who I am. They know my name. They're calling me Sergeant Ramirez again, like I'm back in the military. That means I'm always constantly battling and training people. I feel like that's part of what we've all been brought together for. And we're all soldiers in this. And that's why when I changed my name to Soldier with the OUL, it's because we're all souls, and we're here as part of this light army, just like the angels and the archangels. And they're not, honestly, the angels aren't perfect either. I mean, that's why, that's why that there's fallen angels, is because they have flaws like we do. They're not perfect. They try to be, they work on themselves, and they're higher vibrational than we are. But same thing with demons. Demons are just fallen angels. That's all they are, and I feel like there's a lot of demons walking around in flesh. And I feel like there's a lot of angels walking around in flesh. And you'll know the difference when you meet them. I promise you that. And I know for me speaking, I can walk into a house and I can tell you if the mojo's good right off the bat. I don't know if other people, like, this house doesn't feel right to me, or it feels weird. I don't feel right, because your energy is like push away, push away, push away, and same thing with like people. I've been always told, you should have been a teacher. You should have been a counselor, because people just attract to me and start telling me their problems and all these things. And so now the beautiful thing is I'm able to help people with the tools that I've been using lately, like the tarot cards and things like that. I can communicate, because people want to ask questions and they come to me anyway. So it's the fact that I'm able to use that. And within the first 5 minutes, most of my clients are crying, because I start just doing a general reading and I start opening things for them. And they just feel so much better when they leave. And that's the goal, is for everybody. Just try to make somebody feel better than when you met them. Just because somebody comes up to you to talk to you, you may say that's a weird person, or they smelled because we've been taught those things. They smell weird. They look different. The other person looks scary. I've been told I actually been verbally told by an adult, you look very scary. I wouldn't want to be around you. And you look at animals and children, every little baby child from a distance will just sit there and smile at me and stare at me. And my wife's like, there's always these kids and these children always look at you, because children aren't taught. It is little kids and babies. They don't have that prejudice that we brought up in. And they just see the light around that person and they're attracted. The kids know. Animals know when your energy is not good. They'll let you know for sure. And I feel like we've been taught these things. And that's the unfortunate part, is we've been taught we're segregated. Everything is segregated by race, by sex, by religion, by financial status, by
Division.
sex, by everything. Everything is the divide. You're smart. You got an Ivy League college. Well, I got in community college. What does that make me? Dumb? You know what I mean? Those are things. Everything has been created to separate us, because easier to manipulate when you're individual than when you're a collective. That's why the internet came about, even though that people think it's an amazing thing, and it is, because we're able to connect now. We're using the darkness as tools against them, which is beautiful. But this was originally brought up to spy on us and to segregate us by keeping us away from pubs and church, or if you go to church or ball games or picnics or wherever you would go to congregate with multiple people to talk about things, because they can't control or listen to what you're saying. Now they can do that individually. They know what you're searching for. They know what you're talking about. They know everything that you're doing. And I don't care what anybody says. We've been spied on from at least the 30s, 40s, guaranteed. I mean, they've been listening when we were doing old dial-up phones. They were linking in and listening to every conversation we were doing. Mm-hmm. And this stuff has all been agenda. It's for the part of the agenda. And I know it's hard to say these things, but our job is to break this matrix. And our job is to enlighten ourselves. And we enlighten ourselves through education. And we educate each other like we're using now. We're using tools, resources online. Those are things you're able to do. Connect with like-minded people. That's what we've all been doing. We're connecting with like-minded people. And that's what I honestly, I don't feel like I don't hate to feel like I'm preaching, but the reason why we're connected this way is for a higher purpose. A higher purpose. And these people we're connected to, I feel like we share possibly souls or spirit guides that are the same. And I can speak to that because when I pull cards on things, for instance, and Kristen pulls cards on things, they're similar. So I feel like the energies, we share guides and we can read that way. And I feel like the same thing when it came to even with Janine from the Queen of Ravens. I mean, just finding out that the first moment I heard her speak words years ago, it was such a vibration in my ears. Every syllable, every word she spoke would just vibrate. It was like, whoa, 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 whoa. It just was so crazy. I'm like, that's never happened to me before with anybody speaking to me. I'm like, why is that? So, and it was crazy. And I was connected to her. And I find out now is because we've had lifetimes together and I've protected her. So I make sense of why that these things are that way. And we're here for a purpose, guys. And we're soldiers of light and continue to work on ourselves. We enlighten others through our own journey. And that way we don't feel crazy. And I tell my wife the same thing. I make a joke. I'm like, if guess what? I said, if I'm going to the mental institution, there's a lot of us going with me because I know there's a lot of us who think these same things. So that tells me that what I'm thinking and what others are thinking, and they're all similar. I'm not saying we're going to think identical, but we're going to have similar thoughts. There's a reason. And it's different from the collective that's we've been taught. So there's a reason why we're being brought together. So our energies can combat, I feel like, almost like the dark versus light against the collective of their darkness, our collective of our light. That's kind of what I'm feeling is what we've been brought together for. So it's been awesome.
Ladies.
I got goosebumps. Like our souls, our spirit guides are. I definitely related with that, and I feel so inspired after hearing all of your wisdom and everything. Like I'm just like, I don't know. I got kind of wrapped up in like working lately, and all of the business has been like nonstop and stuff. So I'm just like, I'm ready to go back to all of this and just get right. You know, get my mind right and connect again. So I'm so inspired, and I feel like so grateful right now.
No worries. Real quick, I'm getting tingles. So yeah, they want you to take some time for both of you and your parents, because I know your parents are involved in this business as well, I feel. And they want you guys to all kind of take your time too, to enjoy the ride. I know it's hectic, but step back for a moment and enjoy your blessings, and your blessings are going to expand. And I'm telling you, within a year, I know you guys will be in a location, a hard location. And I know that it's going to be successful for you guys because you keep putting that good energy out, and people will attract to that. And that's what it is. The law of attraction is based on what you're putting out. So they want you to focus on, take some time to yourselves too. Enjoy the ride and your blessings, because we get caught up in the day-to-day grinds with kids and running around and doing this thing to make money. And they want you to just kind of open. I keep saying open. So, and you guys, I feel like once you do that and you guys take some time, I feel like you're going to see things even progress even further for you quicker. I don't know why. I just keep seeing a wheel, a climbing wheel is what I see though. So, but that's what they're trying to tell me to, it's all of you need to focus on yourself. And same thing I feel like with you too, Jay. I know you've been working on yourself, but to focus on yourself as well sometimes. Same thing, Dennis, and all the people listening. Spirit is definitely telling me when I read, I've been reading these, I didn't do them the last few days. I've been doing daily readings for the world or just in general. And I feel like I've been reading the collective is what I've been picking up on. And that's what I feel like my energy's been doing more lately. And that's why sometimes I'm exhausted when I wake up, because I know these things that we're going through, and we're all here for a reason, but we all need to work on ourselves. And I've been working on I'm not going to lie, like Jay says, not as much. I used to be a very violent thinking person because I've been in combat and all this stuff. So
chopping someone's up is violent, right? Okay.
So, I mean, I've always been a fighter, and I mean, I boxed in the military and karate and all that stuff, and I was just always jumping out of airplanes and helicopters and the cool stuff that people used to do. Now I'm all beat up because of that stuff. And, and I feel like, and did it really get me anywhere in this life? No, it just got me some knots on my head and, some hurt people, so, and I feel like I do more now I communicate better, because I'm not as quick to get agitated or as quick to get triggered.
Right.
And even though I mentioned at the beginning of the show that there's a few things that can still kind of irk me a little bit when I feel like somebody is treating me like I'm dumb, because I don't treat you that way. Don't treat me that way. That's all I ask. But some people just do it because they're just very narcissistic. They're condescending. It's just their personality. Like, I'm better than you. And that's not the case. So we're all equal, and I'm not going to lie. I used to have a little bit of that complex, like I'm better than you, have to beat me. I was very competitive. Everything I do is competitive, and I've gotten away from that. And
Guilty.
even stuff to the point where I'm like, I used to always say I'd rather cut my arm off than lose. And that was like my mentality. And I just has always been in me for some reason. And maybe that's the fighter part of me I've always been since I was a kid, that it's always been in me. But it's just the fact of that really hasn't gotten anywhere except violent outbursts, and that just didn't do anything for me. And I had to pick up a lot of pieces after the fact. And I've learned these things lately as working on myself. And that's only what I can tell people. I know it sounds cliche, but I've worked on myself a lot, and just seeing what's important in my life, and I had a falling out with my daughter even, just personally. So, but we've reconnected again, things like that, because my energy was in a different place. And her energy's in a different place because I can affect her energy with my energy. And that's how it is. And that's what people realize is our energy affects others around us. Even if we don't have to say a word, the old saying that I used to tell my players, you don't have to, when I coach, you don't have to say anything. Your body language tells me everything I need to know about what you're thinking right now. And that's a true story. I mean, we may not have to say anything, but it's our body language shows a lot. Are you crossed-armed? Are you standoffish? Are you standing straight? Are you relaxed? Those are things you can tell when people's hairs on the back of their necks are standing up from people. I mean, you can literally tell these things if you just observe. And I'm a retired nurse too, so I'm always kind of like obsessing people up and down, which is a bad thing. but I don't do it like to judge. I just do it to see, because my nursing skills just kind of come out automatically. And, and I notice body language of people, and that's a big thing, because you're putting intention out without putting words out. And like I mentioned, talk about the Native American shaman stuff or the Native American stuff. And it was, and I put that out in the last roundtable, but this old medicine man was talking about that they teach their tribal members. This is, I believe it was a Sioux. No, it was a Sioux. No, Navajo. It was a Navajo medicine man. And he was saying everything has energy. And that's what I was mentioning too. Everything. And it made so much sense when he said these things. Everything has energy, your thoughts. He goes, and when you think bad things, or you even say bad things, your bad thought brings the negative around you. And then it attaches to your physical body and your spiritual body. And it drains you, and people get sick, and people get illnesses, and people get cancers. And that makes so much sense, is when you put that intention out with fear or negative thoughts, that will attract to the words you speak. Because you're speaking words in your mind. You may have to say them out loud, but you're speaking those words. I mean, we all speak to ourselves. I know we do. Before I say something, like, let me think about that for a minute. But we're talking to ourselves. That's our higher self, believe it or not. The voice you hear is your higher self already talking to you. It may sound crazy, but it's not. And that's what I tell people. It's listen to that. And from a good open heart, and your higher self will direct you to the right if you listen to it. If you listen to this too much, that's where this gets into the play. And sometimes that is a hindrance for us. So no, I didn't pull cards for the tribe yet. What would you like me to pull cards on? Beachgoer? Just for an outlook?
I'll
all right,
be right back. Excuse me 1 second.
All right, I'll pull cards for the rest of September. Let's see what we do. All right. Let's see what we get for the rest of September.
14 to the 18th and 21 to the 25th are dates of interest.
Yeah. So there's some delays going on right now. There's something I feel like it's involving our spirituality and kind of what we've been knowing is coming, but there's been some delays, and it's regarding some truths. The Queen of Swords coming out, and something that's going to bring us some clear-minded perspectives, and it's going to be a message. Something is going to come to us. It's going to be a message, possibly something that's going to bring us some renewed energy and some new hope. And I feel like it's going to be some type of collaboration. We're going to find out. It's going to be something involving that's also going to bring us some celebration, not only with our own friends, but people around us. I feel like we're going to have some beautiful, beautiful times ahead. And I feel like it's going to, we're in progress right now. Things are being worked on, and this is part of our expansion. Everything we're seeing here in this journey in September is working through our expansion. And we're going to expand not only the knowledge and the things that we're going to find out, but I feel like things are going to work out financially. I think we're going to have some expansion as well financially. And it's something that's going to come. So I feel like we're going to get some new inspiration. I feel like we're going to get some freedom coming up. There's some things, something is coming in September here. I feel like it's going to bring us some renewed, something that's been worked on, something that's been persistent, and something that we've been resilient about. So I feel like we put all the hard work in, and we're moving forward effectively. And I feel like this is going to bring us some renewal once after we have this. Maybe it's a revelation or something that comes along. I feel like it's going to bring us we're going to be able to rest, renew, and we're going to move in a new direction. And to what I feel like there's some things going to come out that weren't as we appeared. So maybe some news about a lot of the stuff going on with the 2020. Also, I feel like maybe other things around the world, and also what I also get with the moon card besides that is trust your intuition. I feel like the things that you know and the things you're going to hear are going to resonate because I feel like you already kind of know these things is what it's telling me. And it's going to lead to, I feel like we're going to have some recognition. Maybe something is going to come along. We're going to see a lot of recognition. It's going to be a joyous time. And there's going to be some victory. So I feel like we're going to move into a victorious place by the end of September.
That was awesome.
So hopefully that resonated with some of you guys. But I just kind of mentioned before, there's some things coming. It's been delayed multiple times. And I always tell people all the time in the chats for Kristen and Jason, don't focus on the when. It hasn't happened yet. All these things. Okay, I was that way too. I'm not going to lie with the Q thing and all this stuff that was going on, or 17 letter. I don't care, whatever you want to call it. And I was like, This is supposed to happen. This is supposed to happen. This is supposed to happen. It didn't. It didn't. It didn't. Next, I told people, go. I was like 3 years ago, like, go stock up on food. Go stock up on food. Just get these things in order. You know, these are things. My friends were like, dude, you're freaking insane, man. And nothing happened. My buddy, I'm like, dude, Trump's coming back. Trump's coming back right away. Like, right when this whole thing, my buddy's like, no, man, you're crazy. So all these things, and I finally got to the point where, like, because I was afraid to be wrong. That was and that's honest truth. I hate to be wrong because I hate when somebody will judge me if I even if I'm not purposely telling you incorrect information. It's what I feel is right, and I say something and I end up being wrong, and then somebody saying, haha, I told you were wrong, or whatever. That was my insecurities as a person, and I let go of that crap. And I finally said, you know what, it's going to happen. And all the dreams that I've received from my guides are very prophetic. I've seen the white building in DC. I've seen all that stuff get removed. I've been in the military missions. I've seen those with President Trump as my commander in chief in a couple of dreams. I've seen many of these things that I've asked for. And if I didn't I told my wife the same thing. If I didn't have the dreams from my guides, I would have been probably a little deflated back in the day. And that's the truth. But once I saw these things and President Trump was in my dream, and I knew my guides did that so I could understand. And when I asked about specifically, is Trump good? Is he fighting evil? Those are things I would ask, and I would get these messages. And when I get these messages, they were so strong, I can pinpoint every part of these dreams like they happened I'm awake in my reality, and it stuck with me that strong. So if I didn't have that feeling, it brought me peace. And that's why I try to just emanate that to people when I'm around them or talk to them. I understand these things are crazy. I know the world is upside down, and it has been for a long time. And our entire existence has been upside down. That's why I keep seeing the hourglass, because they turn the time upside down. They keep turning this thing. Wow, Jay, I just got a download right now. You remember this last show when I kept seeing this?
The twirl.
That's what it, and it was turning back time. Oh man, right now I just got a blown moment right now.
That's it.
So last show I got the turning back time. Remember that? I kept saying I feel like we're turning back time. And I just got the download with the sun gazing with the hourglass. So something is telling me.
I like it.
And it was about the earth though, but it can tie back into the turning back time last time. Wow. So
I did want to break out in the song right there if I could turn back time, but I didn't want to hurt you guys. So.
I wanted to come out with money, but you know.
Right?
I'll guarantee these ladies sing way better than us.
Exactly. But, you know, I've been telling people this, but I mean, what I'm telling you is I want people to know is just the message I'm getting out is just release that stuff.
I agree with that.
Release it. It'll happen when it's meant to happen, and not a second before, not a second after. And that, yeah, we have major merging timelines and all these things that people talk about. I'm telling you, it's coming. I can see it. I've seen multiple things financially. I've seen the new world we're moving into. I've seen the rainbow world. I've seen the beauty that's coming. I've seen it. And I can speak to that wholeheartedly. I want people to know that it's coming. Don't focus on the when. It is coming. And I promise you, it's coming. And when it comes, our world and our life will never be the same. Never. Never. So you're preparing for this. This is a marathon. We're changing something that's happened from the beginning of time. If you want to look at it that way. Like this has been darkness that's been just multiplying and multiplying and multiplying and multiplying. And we have this heaping pile of garbage that we're having to clean. That's what we've been going through, is cleaning this. Because there's diamonds at the bottom of that garbage heap. That's where we are. We're at the bottom of the garbage heap. A lot of us are. So us that are here, that are climbing and clawing and getting all this garbage away, it's so we can separate that so the rest of the people that have been buried can open up themselves. That's what I can look at metaphorically, is that's what we're here to do. That's why we have hard lives or have a lot of hardships in our personally. It could be relationships. It could be whatever it may be, physical issues that you've had, injuries. And these are a lot of symptoms and a lot of things that I've talked to so many people that we have a lot of similar things, bad childhoods, or violence around the home, or violence around the environment they're in, or they had physical ailments that are really, really limiting ailments for people. And there's a reason. And I know it's because we're battle tested. And these things that have come to this in our lifetime, there's a reason why they come to us, because they're working overtime to destroy us, because they know we're here for a reason. And I feel like that's why we're battle tested. The dark knows like we're here for a reason to destroy them and to raise the vibration of others. And that's why I feel like they really focus on us more. And we have a lot of these similar issues. And I feel like that's part of the reason why when we can break out of these shells, it's amazing. And we're starting to clear the way now for these others that they can open up. And then once we do that together, the new journey that we're going on, this marathon that we're in, it's going to be beautiful. That means our kids, and our kids' kids, and so on and so forth will have this beautiful future that we've all envisioned. And it's not going to be a division one where one person is above the other and you have more money than I do. And that's not going to be the case. Eventually, we're going to have things like replicators where if you want to replicate a gold bar, you get a gold bar. I mean, that means money is worthless. You want a steak, you can replicate a steak. Whatever it is, those are things that we're going to that we're not able to comprehend, and we're not mature enough to handle that technology yet is the reason why we don't have it. And they've kept it from us partially, but the dark has kept some of this for themselves as well. But on another topic, but I mean, we're working towards that. We have to work on ourselves. And once we're able to do that, this world is going to be exactly how it was intended from the very beginning. Magical. Where other beings would come here, this was like the place to be, because this was the perfect place that God made. And that's why they worked so hard to destroy and flip everything. I keep seeing that flip. Everything has been flipped upside down for a reason. And that's because we've been taught that. And I'm telling you, this is going to be an amazing, amazing journey. So don't be afraid, everyone. I've seen the beauty. I know others have seen it too. I know you guys have all had your experiences. That's why we come together. That's why we have these things so people can speak. So you're not having to hold these things in. Don't hold them in anymore. There's no reason to. Go to, like, for you guys, go to your sister, go to your parents. For you, go to your wife, go to whoever you relate to that understands. I told at first when Jay would talk to me, he's like, dude, I'm going to tell you some things that might sound crazy.
Nobody understands me.
Might sound crazy. And I told him, I said, stop saying those words, because it's not crazy to us. It's not crazy to me. Let me know. And I also made me think that same thing. I keep coming back to the mental institutions. How many of these people were really awake? Or they're star seeds or something that they're just way above. And then the darkness is like, nope, you're not going to start this garbage. We're going to put you in and dope you up for life. And then they get these people addicted to all these things. And then it brings their vibrational level down and it dumbs them down and they're not able to function. And I feel like it's unfortunate. And it's like, this was never meant to be a dark place and a prison, like Chuck was saying. It was never meant to be that way. This is like, I feel like on earth as it is in heaven. I feel like there's some statements that ring true to me. And that's one of them from religious, on earth as it is in heaven. And I feel like that's how God intended it. Like when you see here's what I feel. I see beautiful blue and turquoise ocean water where it looks like pool water, but it's the ocean. I feel when God created this world, all the water looked like that. It was crystal clear. You could see it at the bottom of it before man came in and built dams in places they weren't supposed to be and messed with waterways and polluted the water and all. I feel like every waterway was crystal clear like that. And I feel like that was like everything was so vibrant and just colorful and amazing. And that's what I feel like over the time. It's been polluted and try to destroy what God created because they want to destroy the earth. That's exactly what it is, until they can say I conquered it and I was above God because I conquered this. But that's never going to happen. It's already done. And about a month ago, when I felt the most exhausted, I said this in one of our lives too, is I feel like the final battles were done and were won about a month ago is what I feel. And actually now that That's funny because Ishmael has been saying the same thing on his podcast and stuff. So it tells me that what I feel in the battles that I've been dealing with, he's been in those battles too, and he knows exactly what I feel. So I'm telling you, I feel like these are things that's why we're starting to see the queen die now. And we're starting to see these things move forward, because I feel that the battles that were done, the major battles that needed to take place in order for the chess pieces to start moving along for us in this reality. So, and that's why I want people to know it's coming. It's coming. Well, job well done. Exactly what Kristen and Jason, when Jason had that dream, said, well done. That's all the words Trump said to him. Well done. So that tells me between his dreams, my dreams, Ishmael, that we have all been in combat and off-world stuff together. I'm telling you, it's happening. It's happening. Have faith. I have goosebumps right now to tell you guys this stuff. So stay in the light. So before we go, is there anything else you guys want to leave us with before we close it up for the night? I know I want to thank all you guys for coming, and thank all you viewers for watching. It's been an amazing journey so far with you guys. So I'll start with you, Dennis. Anything you want to kind of parting words of wisdom for anyone?
Parting words of wisdom. I'm a man of constant downloads. No, I don't have anything else.
Okay. How about you, Jay?
I love Dennis. I do. I love you, buddy. That's you just can't leave that, you know. No, thanks everybody. That's it. Appreciate seeing every ladies. Thank you so much. Appreciate Jason bringing it all out, bringing it together. Thank you. Thank everyone in the chat.
No worries. Ladies?
Yes, thank you so much for inviting us on. This has been so much fun and so like I said, inspiring and encouraging, and just relaying the message to everyone to stay high vibe, and like you say, just focus on you right now and do the work, do what you have to do.
Hello.
I agree. Thank you. It's been awesome.
Did he just blink out again?
He just did. He's blanked out again. All right.
Oh.
So amazing. I mean, if you guys ever want to come back, we'd love to have you back again. We didn't really get into the crystals and things, and we can always do that as you guys maybe get a little more prepared if you want to do that. That's cool with me too. We're going to do this on a weekly basis anyway. I feel like this is something that's good. I feel like we need to come together as a collective, and I feel like the more we can kind of communicate with each other, the better. So, and I feel like I'm not a public person. I don't like being on the camera and all that stuff. And it's Spirit literally pushed me into this like a month plus ago, like tell me you need to get out there and do it. Just go. And when Christian was telling me the same thing, once she like started talking to me and knew me, she's like, the world needs you. We need to push you out into the world. And I'm like, I appreciate that. I never asked for these things. It just literally, they just come to me. And that's just what I want people to know, that because I mean, we're all here, just come from an open place in your heart. And then there's going to be so many things that are just going to come to you. I mean, it's just going to be full of love and light. And I'm telling you, we're on a journey to a beautiful new world. So just keep the faith, everybody. And I want to say thank you again for tuning in, and light and love, everyone. I'm going to send all you guys good energy. Okay. All right. Soldier of Light out.